Hello, champion. How you doing? It's music time. Are you ready? Are you ready for this class today? All right, I want to say welcome. How you doing? It's nice having you around today. I'm so happy to have you in class. Now let's learn. What's the topic we have for today? We are talking about chords on C major scale. What did I say? Chords on C major scale. Now let's look at what chords are before we go to C major itself. A chord is the sounding of 2, 3 or more notes together at a time. You have to sound them. You have to strike them. They are not single notes. Yes, they might be single notes, but if you want to have a chord, you will sound them together. A chord can be the first, can be the third, can be the fifth or the eighth. Okay, so that's what a chord is, sounding of 2, 3 or more notes together. In the scale of C major, or you call it the key of C. Now listen, we can call it C major scale or what? The key of C. It's a major scale based on C, with pitches on C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. What is C major based on? Is based on C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. C major is one of the most common key signatures used in music and is the easiest. Why is it the easiest? Because they are all on what? White keys. Its key signature has no flats or sharps. Its relative minor is A minor and its parallel minor is C minor. I don't want to bug you with so many things, but like I said, C major does not have sharp or flat key. Is that clear? They are all white keys, all white keys, all white keys, and it's the easiest to play. And this is the first key or skill anyone who wants to learn music, how to play or sing, should begin with. Is that okay? So it's just C, D, E, F, G, A, B. To make it balanced, you have what we call what? C. So its key signature has no flats or what? Sharps. And like I said, its relative minor is what? A minor. A minor is relative to C major scale. And its parallel minor is C minor. All right. Okay. Now, in music theory, the root note is the pitch that establishes the tonality of a musical key, chord, or scale. Now, when we talk about a root note, like we have our buildings where we live, where we stay, we have the foundation. They dig it down into the ground before they pour concrete, cement, stones, and all of that. After that, they start putting the blocks. Why? So that the foundation will be strong. So when you talk about the foundation, we call it a fundamental or the root position. The same thing as the first. The root of a chord gives the chord its name and establishes the relationship between all other notes in the chord. For instance, in a C major chord, the C note is the root of the chord. If it is D major, the D will be the root. If it is E, it will be E. Is that okay? Now, that root is also called fundamental note, is also called what? First. Now, I want to let you know that when you want to pick your chords, you take the first, the third, the fifth, and the what? Eighth. Sometimes you don't take the eighth. You can just take first, third, and fifth. So if we say we have the scale of C major, what do you think will be the particular chords that we're going to have? We'll have C, which is first. We'll have E, which is the third. Then we'll have G, which is the fifth. We have to skip what? D and what? We started with C. We skipped D. We'll go to E. We'll skip F. We'll take what? G. All right. In order to create a balance, the scale is arranged thus. Now look at it. C chord 1. Chord 1 is C, E, G. Chord 2, D, F, A. Chord 3, E, G, B. Chord 4, F, A, C. Chord 5, G, B, D. Chord 6, A, C, E. Chord 7, B, D, F. We have minor. We have A minor here. We have different minors and majors here. More in your level, I'm not going to be bugging you with that. So let's just look at it that our scales, they are C, E, G, D, F, A, E, G, B, chord 4, F, A, C. So know these chords. If I ask you what is chord 5 or C major, you should be able to tell me is G, B, and D. That is the first, third, and fifth. Is that clear? All right. I have a video of which I did, so we are going to be listening more. Hello. Welcome to this segment of chords on C major scale. Like I told you in the last video, I said that a chord is a combination of two or more keys that are joined or played together at the same time. But before we go into chords, I want us to quickly look at the piano. The piano is made up of black and white keys. Black and white keys. The white keys are natural keys. This is where you can play the chord of C major. It doesn't need any black key. But the black keys, they are called accidental keys, or you call them sharps or flats. When you're playing from the left side of your piano to the right side of your piano, if you can listen, is increasing. You call it sharp. But when you are coming from this right side down, you can see the notes are reducing. It's called flats. Okay, then the next thing I want us to look at is our fingering pattern. Now, if you see, this is my left hand, this is my right hand. On the left hand, you play with your pinking, but on the right hand, you play with your thumb. This is your thumb, your pointer, your middleman, your ringman, and your pinking. Now, I want us to look at where we have C on the keyboard. The black keys are grouped in twos and threes. If you see them, twos and threes. So to get your C, you take the white key before the two black keys, that is C. Then to get your F is the white key before the three black keys. Now, a scale is normally 8 notes. The 8 is the repetition of the first. So if you have this as C, this becomes D, E, F, G, A, B. Then you get this C to create a sense of balance. Now listen to the two do's that we are having here. C, C, do, do. It's the same sounds but different pitches, or same notes rather but different pitches. Okay, we have what we call the octave. An octave is made up of a dozen, that's 12 keys. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 white keys and we have 5 black keys. So this is an octave. Now this piano is having up to about 5 octaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So an octave is made up of 12 keys. Now let's look at a chord. A chord of C major is C, which is the first. Then you go and take the third, and you could take the fifth. 3 notes. Sometimes you can apply by having the 8th note, which is the last do. But I want to deal on 3. So this is do, C, E, G. That's the chord of C major. But you can also find other chords on the scale of C major. So if we're having this C to this C, I want to build other chords for us to see. Okay, so it's always the first, the third, and the fifth. It's always what? The first, the third, and the fifth. And having the first, you can also call it the root position. You can also call it the fundamental note. So when I ask you, give me the fundamental note of D, you look at it, C, D. This is the fundamental note. If I ask you, give me the root position of F, you look for it, you come here, F major. So if you're taking F major, you build a third, you build a fifth. So any fundamental note or any first note or any root position you have, you take a third and you take a fifth. So now let's build it. That's 1. Okay, let me take this volume down a bit. Now, chord 1 on C major, you go D, F, A. Chord 2, you go E, G, B. Chord 3, you go F, A, C. Chord 4, you go G, B, B. Chord 5 on C major, you go A, C, E. Chord 6, then you go B, D, F. Chord 7. So you have chord 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To get a balance, you get 8. So that's just it. But I want to build a particular chord or some chords to give you a song. You start chord 1. 5, come back to 1. See that? 1, 4, 5. You can also start from chord 4. 4, 1, 5, 1, 4. You take a lower one. 5. How does that sound? Sound very good. Now, if you're using a giant piano, you can get it once. But if you're using a virtual or a virtual piano, you're going to take it 1. I will know it's a chord 4, chord 5, chord 1 again. Okay, so you can practice and build more chords and build more octaves as you want to do. Welcome back. Welcome back. How was the class? I hope you've been able to see the piano and you were able to pick out your chords from chord 1 to what? To 7. And the 8 is still a repetition. Remember, your first chord on C major, we said is what? C, E, and G. Is what? C, E, and G. I need you to go to your question box. What I needed to answer for me there. What is chord 4 of the C major scale? What did I say? What is chord 4 of the C major scale? All right, now is music quiz. This is always a wonderful time because it helps you to go through your subject, and you have to evaluate yourself to be able to give yourself credit if you did well. So make sure you go through all your questions and get them appropriately what? Correct. All right, I want to say thank you for being a part of this class today. Till I see you in our next class. Stay well, stay healthy. It's goodbye. Bye-bye. Goodbye.